Welcome to Cheating Tales Diary. Before we dive into today's story, we have a humble request. Please consider subscribing to this new channel. Help us hit our first milestone of 1,000 subscribers. Your support will motivate us to keep bringing you more exclusive original cheating wife stories. And now, let's get started with today's story. Cedar Hills, Virginia. A quiet, polished suburban neighborhood where American flags flutter from rooftops every Saturday morning, and the smell of barbecue floats from one backyard to another. In a cozy corner of this idyllic block stands a slate-gray house with two tiny bikes on the porch and a hand-carved wooden nameplate in the lawn that reads, "The Reynolds Family." Logan Reynolds, 38, is a former Marine, a man who fought for his country, swallowed Syrian dust, and walked back alive from the streets of Baghdad. He's now a senior sales manager overseeing national contracts, often away for 2-week tours. But when he's home, his heart is all in. Soft, loving, grounded. Jamie Reynolds, his wife, is a graceful woman who once lit up the dance floor at the University of Virginia. The first time Logan saw her was in the college rehearsal hall. She was barefoot, doing a jazz routine, and her movement carried a kind of hope that felt like a crack of light in a soldier's hardened world. Their story began with an accidental coffee spill, Jamie's vanilla latte splashing across Logan's uniform buttons. "Did I burn your shoulder?" she asked, alarmed. Logan smiled and replied, "I'm a Marine. Heat doesn't bother me, but I wouldn't mind seeing you again." The meetings grew. Long walks, library steps, shared playlists. And finally, a proposal, right before deployment, on one knee, beneath the campus clock tower. Jamie waited for him. For 4 years. She wrote him a letter every week in scented ink, talking about daily life and drawing a little dance step at the bottom each time. When Logan returned from Baghdad, the first thing he did was hold her tight. And they got married in the same hall where they'd first met. A small gathering, a few close friends. Tears in Jamie's eyes, and that same soft smile on Logan's face. It's been 12 years now. They have 2 daughters, Rebecca, 10, and Amy, 7. Rebecca's sharp, plays soccer, and often says, "Dad, I want to be like you, tough and fearless." Amy is more dreamy, into painting, and hides Logan's shoes every time he has to travel, hoping he'll stay home. The girls are the light of that house. Logan's life runs on a schedule now. Jog at 6 a.m., help get the kids to school if he's in town, then Zoom calls or airport runs. Jamie now works remotely as a content editor for a parenting blog, something she enjoys, and that gives her flexibility. Her mornings are peaceful. Chamomile tea, laptop, and sometimes yoga in the backyard. On the outside, everything looks perfect. The lawn is neatly trimmed. There's an inflatable pool out back. Jamie and Logan share a Pinterest board titled Europe 2026. Their vacation plans. Date nights still happen. Sometimes Olive Garden, sometimes just wine and Netflix. Logan's parents visit occasionally. His mother always praises Jamie, and his father teaches the girls how to salute like Marines. Jamie's mom, Suzanne, lives nearby and often takes Rebecca to ballet class. The whole picture feels like something out of a Norman Rockwell painting. Warmth, laughter, stability. But underneath all this perfection, something feels too quiet, too polished, too rehearsed. One morning, Logan wakes up unusually early, 4:45 a.m., and sees Jamie already awake, scrolling on her phone and smiling at the screen. He asks, "Everything okay?" Jamie quickly hides the phone. "Yeah, just a funny meme." That day, Logan leaves for a 3-day work event in Pittsburgh. Jamie kisses him goodbye, but something in her eyes feels different. The depth he used to see isn't there. He brushes it off. "Shut up, soldier, you're overthinking." That same day, Amy has a school project, Draw Your Family. She draws 3 figures, Mommy, Amy, and Rebecca. No Logan. Suzanne, Jamie's mom, gently asks, "Why no daddy, honey?" Amy says, "Daddy's not here most days, so Mommy says we're the real team." When Suzanne calls Logan, he chuckles lightly, but deep inside, something stings. One evening, Jamie sets the dinner table. Only 2 plates. Logan quietly places the third. He says nothing. Jamie doesn't either. And then, one Friday evening, Jamie says she's going out for a girls' night with her friend Carol. Logan puts the kids to bed and accidentally opens Jamie's closet to grab a blanket. Inside is a gift box, untouched, with a luxury lingerie set. Expensive. Seductive. The price tag still on. He freezes. Their anniversary isn't near. They hadn't talked about buying anything new. That night, Logan barely sleeps. But the next morning, Jamie behaves like everything is normal. Smiling, making breakfast, chatting. Logan tells himself, "You're trained to detect real danger, not shadows." But it's always the shadows that show up first, before the real darkness arrives. Inside that quiet house in Cedar Hills, not everything was as it seemed. The perfect couple image that Jamie and Logan had built for over a decade had started to crack. Not in ways you could see, but in ways you could feel. Like a photograph slowly fogging up, and you're just watching, unable to wipe it clear. Logan now traveled for work every second and fourth Monday of the month. Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, St. Louis. His travel itinerary was always packed. Jamie used to help him pack with love, folding his shirts, pressing his socks, slipping in handwritten notes that said, "Come back soon, my hero." But now he packed on his own. And Jamie? She'd just say, "I don't even know why you unpack. You're barely home." Her complaints used to be playful. Then they turned sarcastic. Now they sounded like accusations. "You left me with everything." She snapped one day when Amy got sick and Rebecca's PTA meeting landed on the same afternoon. Logan apologized over the phone, offered to catch the next flight home, but Jamie cut him off with, "Don't bother. It'll be over by the time you get here." On weekends, Logan tried to make up for it, bringing art supplies for the girls, Jamie's favorite Chardonnay, setting up a backyard tent for a family camp night. But Jamie always seemed either too tired or too distant. Sometimes she'd sit with her headphones on, deep into a Zoom call for hours, skipping dinner entirely. One day, Rebecca asked, "Why does Mom look angry when you hug her?" Logan chuckled and said, "That's not anger, sweetheart. That's just grown-up stress." But he knew. Rebecca had seen the truth. Jamie's style had changed too. She used to wear soft pastels, beige, light blue, gentle pinks. Now she wore black, crimson, deep green. Suddenly, she was into gym sessions, more spa appointments, and expensive nightwear kept arriving from Amazon. Logan once casually asked, "You've been dressing up a lot lately." Jamie shrugged. "I got tired of looking like a mom, wanted to look like me again." Her tone had no warmth, no playfulness, just a cold, flat statement. One Friday, Logan decided to surprise her. He canceled a weekend trip and came home at 6 p.m. He imagined she'd be happy. Maybe a bottle of wine open, maybe the kids excited to see him. But when he arrived, Jamie was on the balcony, on the phone, softly laughing. Logan stood quietly behind her, trying to listen in. Just then, Jamie said, "Gotta go." "He's home." Logan froze. Who was he? Her husband? Or someone else? Jamie turned and saw him. "Oh, you're back early. Trip get canceled?" "Yeah, figured I'd surprise you," Logan said, trying to smile. Jamie gave a small, and walked inside. No hug, no kiss. Just an air filled with an uncomfortable silence. Later, over dinner, Logan asked casually, "Who were you talking to?" Jamie put her fork down. "Just Carol." "Why?" Logan didn't reply. But he remembered. Carol had flown to Florida last week for her cousin's wedding. The small arguments soon turned into real fights. Who's doing the laundry? Who's helping the kids with homework? Who's buying groceries? Every little thing became a full-blown battle. One day, Jamie said, "You know what hurts? It's not that you're gone. It's that I don't miss you anymore." Those words hit Logan like a hammer to the chest. He didn't respond. He just got up, walked into the backyard, and turned on the lawnmower. At 9 p.m. The next day, a notification popped up on Jamie's iPad. Logan happened to be sitting nearby. The screen lit up. "You free this Thursday? Same place?" The sender's name was Steven. Jim. Jamie grabbed the iPad and locked the screen immediately. Logan said nothing, but something shifted inside him. And then, one morning while getting ready for school, Rebecca said, "Mom said we can't tell Daddy about the surprise guests." Logan asked, "What guests, honey?" Rebecca looked down. "She said it's a game. I'm not supposed to tell." Logan tried to smile, but his hands trembled as he closed her lunchbox. The distance between them wasn't just something he felt anymore. He could see it clearly now. This wasn't a marriage anymore. It was theater, where every emotion was rehearsed and every smile was scripted. Logan had started paying closer attention to everything. That soldier's instinct, once honed for battlefields, now stayed alert in every corner of his home. Jamie's routines, the kids' remarks, even the air in the house. It all felt different. But there was no hard evidence, just signs. And that's the most dangerous part. When you know something is wrong, but you have nothing to prove it. It was a quiet Saturday morning. Jamie had gone out for groceries, and Rebecca and Amy were bouncing on the trampoline in the backyard. Logan went to put away some clean sheets in the laundry room cabinet when he spotted a red satin lingerie box tucked on the top shelf. His eyes froze on it. It was from a brand Jamie never wore. Too bold, too expensive, and too unlike her. Inside the box was a handwritten note. "For next time. S." Logan quietly read it, then gently placed the box back like it was something too fragile, too toxic to touch. His thoughts started spinning. Who's S? Next time? That means there's already been a first time? He stayed silent that day. But that night, while in bed, he casually asked Jamie, "Did you get something new from Macy's?" Jamie paused for a second and said, "No. Why?" Logan replied, "Thought I saw a red box." Jamie laughed lightly. "Oh, that? Just a giveaway thing. I haven't even opened it." She kissed him and pulled the blanket over them. But Logan could smell the lie behind her laugh. A few days later, Logan happened to be home on a random afternoon. His trip had been postponed, and Jamie didn't know he was back yet. She was in the study room, wearing headphones, locked in on her laptop. Logan quietly opened the door. Jamie was laughing. Loud, free laughter, the kind he hadn't heard in years. He asked softly, "What are you watching?" Jamie startled, minimized the screen, and said, "Oh, nothing. Just a podcast." But Logan had caught a glimpse of the screen. It was a Zoom call. And right before she closed the laptop, a message popped up in the corner. "Still thinking about that night. You?" Jamie quickly shut the lid and said, "Battery's dying." Logan saw her face and knew. This wasn't a work call. But he didn't say a word. He didn't want to start a scene. He just wanted to see how far this would go. Then Rebecca said something that shook Logan to his core. One night at dinner, Rebecca asked, "Daddy, why don't you come home more often? Mommy says we're doing fine without you." Logan left his plate on the table and walked into the kitchen. He knew one thing. Kids don't lie. They just repeat what they hear at home. That same night, he tried to talk to Jamie. "Jamie, is there something I should know?" She turned to him and said, You mean other than the fact that I'm basically a single mom? What do you want to know, Logan? Why your daughters cry for me and not you? Logan stayed quiet. He didn't want to fight. But his heart, it wasn't intact anymore. There was a burning need now, to know, to understand, and maybe to prove. Then came another small moment. Small, but not insignificant. Jamie was in the shower. Her phone was on the kitchen counter, vibrating. Logan had come in just to grab a glass of water. The screen lit up. Stephen, Jim. Can't stop thinking about you, same time tomorrow? Logan froze. Stephen. The same name that had popped up on her iPad weeks ago. He picked up the phone. Couldn't unlock it, but he didn't need to. That message was enough. Stephen wasn't a friend. This was something else. Jamie came out of the bathroom and saw Logan near the counter. He said casually, "Someone from the gym texted you." Her face went pale. "Oh, that's just Stephen, my trainer. He's a little flirty. Just ignore him." Logan smiled gently. Of course, nothing to worry about. But he knew. His next war zone wasn't in some desert. It was his own home. He didn't argue. The next day, he went to an electronics store and bought a discreet mini camera, perfect for blending into a bookshelf. He also picked up a small voice recorder, easy to hide inside the kitchen cabinet. Logan had been trained. Observe first. Understand your enemy. Then finish it in one shot. And for now, he was just watching. But the story had entered that phase where every small thing became part of a much bigger truth. Suspicion wasn't just a fog anymore. It had started to take shape. Logan's world now lived in two parts. The one everyone could see. PTA meetings, backyard barbecues, polite small talk. And the one hidden behind his eyes. A world of surveillance, suspicion, and an internal war zone he couldn't explain. But Logan still didn't want to break completely. The Marines had taught him. Never engage without visual confirmation. And confirmation wasn't here yet. It was a Friday afternoon when Logan got a call from an old friend, Frank. They'd been buddies since high school. Frank was now a truck driver who moved cargo across multiple states. He was also the same guy who got drunk at Logan's wedding and said, "If she ever breaks your heart, I'll drive over her house with a full load." Logan was just about to answer the phone when Frank spoke straight up. "Man, I saw Jamie." Logan paused. "What do you mean?" Frank's voice carried hesitation, like he didn't want to say it, but felt he had to. "I was delivering in Fairfax, stopped by the Saturday farmers market, you know, the one near King Street? I saw her, bro. Jamie." Logan's heart picked up speed. "Are you sure it was her?" Frank said. "At first I thought it was you with her. Tall guy, same build. They were walking real close, holding hands, laughing. She was wearing that green sundress she always wore when you guys went to the lake." Logan leaned his head against the fridge. Farmers market, Fairfax. That was 40 miles from home. Frank continued, softer now. "I really thought it was you. But when I got closer, I saw the guy, and it wasn't you." Logan asked, "You get a good look at him?" Frank said, "White guy, late 30s, gym body, black sunglasses, short hair. Looked like one of those motivational speaker types." Logan's throat went dry. Frank added, "I didn't want to believe it, man, but..." She kissed him, not on the cheek. A real kiss, public, open, bold. That's when I turned around. Before hanging up, Logan just said, "Thanks, Frank. Don't tell anyone else. Please." That night, Logan sat in the backyard for 3 hours. No drink, no music, just his phone and surveillance footage. He went through the hidden cam from the bookshelf, mostly the kids, mundane kitchen scenes. But then, moments that pierced like glass. Jamie, late at night, holding a wine glass, whispering and laughing on the phone. and once, holding that same red lingerie in front of the mirror, unfolding it, imagining herself in it. Not with a glance of curiosity, but the kind of look you give when you're seeing yourself through someone else's eyes. Logan's breathing slowed. The next day, with Rebecca and Amy playing at the neighbors, Jamie said she was heading to the gym. Logan stayed quiet. He watched her leave and silently took his car out. He wasn't following her, he told himself. Just curious. Jamie drove toward Fairfax, the same area Frank had mentioned. Logan parked a few blocks away, wore sunglasses, kept his hat low. Jamie walked into a cafe. A few minutes later, the man appeared. Stephen. Logan felt everything inside him go still. Stephen greeted her, took her hands, and did exactly what Frank had described. Logan pulled out his phone, switched to discreet zoom-in video mode and hit record. Stephen kissed her fingers. Jamie giggled. They looked like a couple without a care in the world. Logan recorded for 2 minutes, then turned on the ignition and quietly drove away. On the drive back, the radio played a Jason Isbell song, If We Were Vampires. Ironic, romantic, brutally honest. Back home, Logan went into the study and started organizing his surveillance files. Now he had truth. What the eye couldn't confirm, cameras and a friend had. He looked at his daughters. Rebecca was coloring, Amy playing with her dolls. Innocent. Pure. And that didn't break Logan. It made him stronger. This wasn't about suspicion anymore. This was about truth. And Logan had no tears left. Only a Marine's tactical calm. Logan Reynolds was no longer just a husband. He was in mission mode. Every detail, every movement, every shift now tracked like battlefield intelligence. The Marines had taught him, when the enemy's inside your house, the war becomes personal. And now, Jamie had become the most dangerous unknown variable in his life. He reactivated his military discipline to upgrade his surveillance. He researched discrete camera placements, audio bugs, and encrypted systems through online tech forums. In his attic, he built a covert workstation, encrypted hard drives, a surveillance splitter, and noise isolation headphones. He sat there late into the night, sipping coffee like an analyst decoding a black ops mission. He stitched an ultra-thin GPS tracker into Jamie's gym bag, the kind powered by kinetic movement, not battery. Her SUV already had one, but now Logan wanted to cross-verify. One day, while Jamie was in the shower, Logan opened her purse and pulled out a second phone, the one he had found hidden in the bedroom drawer the previous week. It wasn't new, but clearly used for something separate. He turned it on. No password. Only one contact was saved. S. Logan copied the number into his encrypted drive and ran it through a VoIP database. The geoping location came back. 5th Street Gym, Arlington. Same place Frank had mentioned. The name and the location now matched. He installed silent spyware into the phone. Every message, every call, every mic activation was now mirrored to Logan's system. Within days, the surveillance logs revealed horrifying clarity. Jamie had spoken to Stephen many times, always late at night after the kids were asleep. Sometimes at 11:34 p.m., other times at 1:12 a.m., sometimes even during her showers. One night, Jamie said, "I can't keep pretending forever. Sometimes I just want to pack up and disappear with you." And Stephen replied, "Soon, baby. Let the house sell. Let the custody go through. Then it's just you and me." Logan stopped breathing. Let the custody go through? Jamie wasn't just cheating. She was planning something bigger, dragging their children into a custody battle. This wasn't personal anymore. This was war protocol. He called someone he trusted. Mark, an ex-Marine now working in private security. The moment Logan explained, Mark understood. "She crossed the line, huh?" Logan nodded. Mark introduced him to Joe, an underground hacker, a disbarred MIT graduate who only worked for cash and never left a digital trace. Joe decrypted Jamie and Steven's call logs and mirrored Steven's email account. They now had everything, enough to destroy someone in court. But Logan wasn't heading to court. Not yet. He wanted to get inside Steven's life and tear it down from within. When Joe accessed the drafts folder of Steven's Gmail, what Logan read stripped him raw. One draft read, "Jamie's little girl called me daddy by accident. It felt right. I know we shouldn't rush, but I think she's getting used to me." He hadn't sent it, but he'd written it. Logan's heart stopped right there. Those girls, the ones he woke up from nightmares for, were calling someone else daddy? That night, Logan spent hours backing up every surveillance file. Video, audio, chat logs. He organized them all. While Jamie was out picking the kids up from school, Logan went into the bedroom closet. There, hidden behind winter coats, was Steven's gym hoodie, the one Jamie had accidentally brought home last week. Logan checked the inside tag and found Steven's wallet tucked inside. Some cash, an ID, and a gym membership card. He scanned the ID, noted the license number, and placed everything back exactly the way it was. Logan now had it all: the name, the job, the pattern, the psychology. Meanwhile, Jamie was in the kitchen, smiling, making dinner, playing puzzles with Amy, helping Rebecca with math homework. Everything you'd expect from a picture-perfect wife and mother. But Logan knew the truth. It was a performance, and performers always hide what's going on backstage. That night, sitting in front of the surveillance screen, Logan asked himself, "Do I want revenge or justice?" The answer was simple: both. Logan had transformed his home into a surveillance bunker. Every corner, every conversation, every movement was being monitored. His system had 3 mic zones: one inside the kitchen cabinet, one behind the living room bookshelf, and another in the master bedroom headboard. Every audio clip was time-stamped. Every video file encrypted and stored on external SSDs. No cloud, no trace. This wasn't just suspicion anymore. This was a war room. And Logan wasn't in the field. He was in command. One Wednesday morning, Logan left for his scheduled flight to Orlando. Before takeoff, he verified his surveillance feeds, enabled remote access on his phone, and hugged Jamie goodbye. Kissed her forehead, acted like everything was normal. But as the plane lifted, Logan realized he wasn't just flying away from home. He was flying away from the man who used to blindly trust. That evening, a storm hit Virginia. Jamie sent the kids to Suzanne's house saying, "Power might go out." Later, Suzanne texted Logan, "The girls are here. Jamie says she's staying back to finish work. All good?" Logan typed, "Thanks, Mom. All good." But his fingers felt cold. He opened the surveillance app, and what he saw hollowed him out. Jamie was in the kitchen, wine glass in hand, whispering into the phone. The audio feed came through clearly. "The storm is actually kind of perfect. The girls are gone. Just get here quick, okay?" Logan stopped breathing. 20 minutes later, Steven's black pickup pulled into the driveway. The dash cam lit up his license plate, clear as day. Steven entered without knocking. Jamie wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him. Long, intentional, too comfortable. This wasn't the first time. The living room bookshelf cam captured it all. The laughter, the wine, Jamie resting her head on his shoulder. And then both of them moving toward the bedroom. Logan watched, not frozen on a screen, but live. He switched to the bedroom headboard cam. The lens was tilted just enough to offer a strategic view. There she was, Jamie, in that same seductive red lingerie Logan had only ever seen folded away. Steven's hands were around her waist as he whispered, "You're way too good for that guy. It's like you've been pretending for years." Jamie had responded, "I was. I thought I loved him. But love and routine aren't the same. Something inside Logan fractured. Not just a marriage, but the version of himself that once believed it was sacred. Stephen asked, "So when do we make this real?" Jamie answered, "Let me win the custody first, then you're moving in." Logan paused the video right there. Custody. This wasn't just an affair. This was a full-blown takeover. Jamie didn't just want out of her marriage. She wanted the whole life, the entire home, and both daughters along with it. And that was the night Logan's heart didn't break. It transformed. He scanned the stolen ID from Stephen's wallet, accessed the DMV database. With Joe's help, he pulled Stephen's full background, past addresses, social security flags, 2 restraining orders from previous partners, one of them still pending. Logan now had ammunition, not just emotional, but legal. Then came another shock through the spyware embedded in Stephen's phone. Logan discovered Stephen had been texting other women too. One message read, "I'm late, you said it was safe." Stephen hadn't replied. Logan screenshot the entire conversation. Joe developed a custom software script that extracted 6 months of Stephen's location history and message archives into a compiled HTML report. Logan's hands weren't those of a betrayed husband anymore. They were the hands of a tactical field analyst. At 3:12 a.m., Jamie and Stephen were asleep. The living room camera showed empty wine glasses. Jamie's heels lay tipped over on the floor. Logan backed up the footage onto an external SSD. For the first time, tears appeared in his eyes while watching the surveillance feed. But they weren't from fear or heartbreak. They were final tears, the kind after which there's no turning back. He called Joe and Mark and said only one thing. Phase 2, I'm done watching, time to act. Joe replied, "Understood. Send me the full package. By morning, Stephen's gonna wish he never picked up a dumbbell." Mark chuckled and said, "Welcome back, Marine." Logan Reynolds was no longer a wounded husband. He was now the retaliator. Every insult, every recorded laugh, every hidden truth was now part of an active mission dossier. And like any military operation, Logan divided this emotional takedown into 3 phases: destabilize, expose, eliminate. Together with Mark and Joe, Logan planned a week-long tactical campaign. A precise, layered effort to dismantle Stephen's identity, reputation, and digital footprint. But Jamie wasn't the first target. Stephen was. Because Logan knew, if you're going to cut off a Hydra's head, you start with the one that thinks it's invincible. Joe had already scraped Stephen's laptop for all credentials. Email logins, credit cards, gym records, dating apps, even saved passwords for old cloud accounts. Stephen's most vulnerable point? His ego. And Logan aimed right at it. Stage 1. Psychological destabilization. Joe created an automated gift-sending script under Stephen's name. Every week, random women began receiving packages from him, without their consent. Scented candles from Amazon, expensive lingerie from Etsy, romantic messages via Uber Eats gift drops, to different addresses, to different names. Some women freaked out. Others posted on social media. "Who the hell is Stephen James and why is he mailing me underwear?" Logan then emailed those women, using encrypted, untraceable emails. The subject line? "You're not the only one." Attached were screenshots, surveillance clips, time-stamped texts. Proof that while Stephen was texting them, he was also with Jamie, sometimes on the same night. Within 72 hours, Stephen's dating profiles on Tinder and Bumble were reported en masse. A local subreddit post surfaced. "Beware of Stephen from 5th Street Gym. Serial liar. Possibly dangerous." His gym membership was suspended after an anonymous complaint citing harassment. Stage 2. Financial sabotage. Joe exploited 2 of Stephen's credit cards. One was maxed out at a high-end furniture store, using a cash-on-delivery order. A $3,200 Italian sectional and gold-trimmed mirror arrived at Stephen's doorstep. The second card was posted, along with bait listings, across eBay and Craigslist. Dozens of strangers attempted to charge small purchases, triggering fraud alerts. Stephen's bank account was frozen, and his phone was flooded with alerts. Suspicious login attempt. Reset your password. Mark hired a private investigator who walked into Stephen's workplace and anonymously sent HR a package containing surveillance clips and documented misconduct. Stephen was a regional manager at a nutrition supplement startup, the same company running a family-first values campaign. 3 days later, Stephen was placed on unpaid leave pending an internal inquiry. Logan wasn't just taking revenge now, he was tearing Stephen's foundation apart, brick by brick. Stage 3. Public exposure. Joe built an encrypted website, jamieandstephentruth.com. A digital vault of surveillance footage, chat screenshots, voice recordings, and Stephen's messages from dating apps. Logan anonymously leaked the URL on Reddit, buried inside a parenting forum where Jamie's blog had followers. The post read, "Is your favorite parenting expert hiding something?" When Jamie discovered the leak, panic set in. She called Logan, the first time in 3 weeks. He answered, calm and cold. "Jamie, what the hell is going on, Logan? Did you do this?" Logan, "Did I do what? Record my wife cheating in my house while I was out supporting this family? Or expose a predator who thought he could replace a father with a gym pass and a protein shake?" Jamie, "You ruined his life." Logan, "No, I just pressed record. He did the rest." Jamie went silent. Logan added one final line. "You brought him into my home. I just showed him the door." That night, Stephen received a voicemail from the same woman who'd messaged him about the pregnancy scare. "You're sick. Everyone knows now. Don't ever come near me again." Stephen messaged Jamie. "We need to lay low. This is bigger than we thought." Jamie didn't reply. Logan monitored the surveillance feed. Jamie was beginning to unravel. She spoke less, stared at blank screens for hours, closed her laptop early and sat still in the dark. The kids now preferred staying with Suzanne. Rebecca once whispered, "Mommy's always tired and mad." Logan contacted a lawyer. He filed for full custody, and he wasn't walking into court empty-handed. He had evidence. Cheating, neglect, surveillance footage, public humiliation, everything. Stephen? Publicly humiliated, financially wrecked, socially blacklisted. Jamie? She was learning that winning the heart of a Marine is hard, but losing it is irreversible. Logan reached out to Joe and Mark for a final status check. Logan, "Are we done?" Mark, "Phase complete, he's out." Logan shut down the surveillance system. For the first time in months. This wasn't a mission anymore. This was justice. Jamie Reynolds stood in the courtroom, dark circles under her eyes, hair unkempt, and none of the confidence she once wore while running a perfect household. The courtroom that was supposed to be her battlefield had become her confession box. On the other side stood Logan, sharply dressed in a charcoal suit, shoulders squared, gaze unwavering. But the softness in his eyes, it was gone. All that remained was a father, fighting for his daughters. This battle wasn't just about betrayal. It was about two innocent girls, paying for their parents' failures. Logan had handed his legal team the full package. Every surveillance clip, every voice recording, every text, and Stephen's background report, complete with 2 restraining orders and multiple workplace complaints. Judge Matthews reviewed everything carefully. Footage of Jamie kissing Stephen inside Logan's home. Bedroom recordings where she whispered, "Once custody's settled, it's all ours." Stephen's dating app activity. School records showing Rebecca's grades dropping during Jamie's custody weeks. Then the judge asked, "Judge Matthews, Mrs. Reynolds, do you have anything to say before we proceed?" Jamie looked at her attorney, then softly said, "I was under emotional stress. I felt abandoned. Logan was never home." Logan's attorney stood, calm but razor sharp. "Ma'am, abandonment isn't bringing your affair partner into your marital home and weaving lies around your children. That's not loneliness. That's manipulation." Jamie glanced toward her daughter for a moment. Rebecca was seated in the back with Suzanne, her face stone cold, just like Logan's. Amy turned her face away. Then came the most damning event from school. Rebecca's accident. The same day her leg fractured on the school playground, and Jamie, listed as the emergency contact, was unreachable. Suzanne had to call the ambulance. Later it was revealed. Jamie was on a Vegas trip with Stephen at the time. There was no anger in Logan's voice when he spoke. "Your Honor, my daughter broke her leg. Her mother was in a hotel suite and didn't answer her phone for 4 hours." Jamie's attorney objected, but the judge gently waved it off. "Let him finish." Logan lowered his gaze and added, "I've made mistakes, but my daughters were never second priority." The courtroom went still. Judge Matthews delivered her verdict in that very silence. Given the evidence of ongoing deception, infidelity, neglect, and the exposure of minor children to inappropriate influences, this court hereby grants Mr. Logan Reynolds sole physical and legal custody of Rebecca and Amy Reynolds. Jamie's eyes filled with tears. But whether they came from guilt or defeat, it was hard to say. The judge continued, "Mrs. Reynolds will be granted supervised visitation rights, 1 weekend per month under court-appointed supervision. All overnight privileges are suspended until further notice." Jamie collapsed into her chair right there. Her face blank, eyes lost in space. Even Suzanne didn't look at her. Rebecca and Amy held Logan's hand, and together, they walked out of the courtroom. The press was outside, but Logan didn't stop for statements. He just said, "We're going home." For Jamie, home was now a rented apartment, where silence had become her only roommate. For Logan, home had become a team of 3. A father and his daughters, slowly rebuilding from the ashes. Jamie called Logan once, during a breakdown. "I didn't mean for this to happen," Logan replied. "But you let it happen, and you watched it burn." Jamie whispered, "Do they hate me?" Logan was quiet, then said softly, "They miss their mother, but they trust their father." And the call ended. 7 months have passed. In that same Cedar Hills neighborhood, Logan and the girls live in a smaller home now. A modest 2-story with a backyard vegetable patch and wine chimes whispering from the porch. The house isn't big, but it's peaceful. The kind of peace that doesn't come from court rulings, only from surviving the battles inside. Logan still wakes up at 5:30 a.m. The Marine in him never fully off duty, but now, instead of grabbing a rifle, he grabs a coffee mug. He makes toast and scrambled eggs before taking Rebecca to school, teaches Amy how to shade her drawings, and every Friday is now movie night. The 3 of them, cuddled under one blanket on the couch, watching old Pixar classics. Jamie? She's now just a supervised visitor, once a month. In a sterile room at a community center under flickering fluorescent lights, she gives her daughters awkward hugs. Rebecca barely speaks. Amy draws quietly in her sketchbook. Logan is always smiling in those sketches. Jamie? Often just a blurry figure in the background. Logan started therapy. Not court-mandated, his own decision. Her name was Lisa. Calm, sharp-eyed, deeply intuitive. She had once been Rebecca's 3rd-grade teacher, the same one who once said casually, "You're doing better than most dads I know." What began as counseling turned into conversation, Conversation became occasional dinners. Lisa never asked Logan, "Why did it happen with Jamie?" She understood. Some wounds don't heal through questions, only through time. One evening, Lisa and Logan sat on the front porch, mugs of chai in hand, Amy asleep inside, Rebecca on the couch reading a graphic novel. Lisa asked, "Do you still think about her?" Logan sat quietly for a long moment, then replied, "Not her, just the version of her I thought I married." Lisa nodded. She didn't press. Logan doesn't trust easily now, but he doesn't fear anymore either. Stephen no longer lives in town. According to Joe's last check-in, he bartends in some remote town in Pennsylvania. No formal charges were filed. Logan never pursued a case. Public humiliation had been enough, and the girls didn't need to witness a messy trial. Jamie once sent Logan a handwritten letter. 3 pages long. An apology, a confession, and a threadbare hope that maybe one day the girls will forgive me. Logan read it once, placed it in a folder, then tucked it into the attic drawer, beneath old surveillance cables and unplugged microphones. That letter is a relic now, of a chapter that's closed. Logan still wakes from nightmares sometimes. Stephen's laugh, Jamie's whisper, "Let the custody go through." And himself, trapped in a surveillance room, watching his own home betray him on every screen. But after every nightmare, he wakes up to Amy's tiny arms around his neck and Rebecca's soft voice from the hallway. "Dad, are you okay?" And he smiles. He's no longer the man who was broken. He's a father who chose his children over his own pain. A man who took revenge but kept his dignity. A survivor who learned that justice isn't always found in courtrooms. Sometimes it's in a quiet sleep, a child's laughter, or letters that never needed a reply. Logan Reynolds doesn't trust quickly anymore, but he doesn't have to, because now he has 2 pairs of eyes that remind him every single day. True love isn't a promise. It's a little girl asking, "Dad, can we make pancakes again tomorrow?" That was the story of Logan Reynolds, a Marine, a father, and a man who rose from the ashes.